Welcome in, Washed Up Walk-Ons fans, episode 194 of the podcast. Today, we are joined by the one and only Dalles Jacobus. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the name. For more than just being a part of the Iowa Hawkeye football team, we're going to get into that. Dalles is a product of Cedar Rapids Kennedy, I believe, right?
Yes, sir.
Cougars?
Yes, sir.
And along with Sean Byer. Were you guys in the same class?
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, so came into Iowa with Byer. Just recently graduated from or I guess I don't know when he graduated. We'll figure that out. But out of the University of Iowa, 5 years with the team, and we're excited to get into it. Dalles more recently on the scene with his music endeavors. Dalles, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me on. I'm excited, man.
Talk to me a little bit about how, because a lot of this is going to be about the music, because I want to highlight that. Want to, a huge part of this is us bringing on guys to kind of tell their story. And a lot of those stories are already told, right? They're at the end of a career, or they're occasionally we get a guy that's still in the league who's, their journey is still the storybook's still being written. But for you kind of have a separation. You're kind of the first guy that we've got to highlight the football career, and then we're moving into a different avenue. So tell me about recruitment for you and how you became an Iowa Hawkeye. I know you're probably a hometown kid, and that was probably the dream, and everyone's got that story, but everyone's is unique. So tell me yours.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I didn't really get recruited. I got accidentally discovered by Coach Morgan when he was recruiting Sean.
Welcome to the club, by the way.
Yeah. So
hey,
we're gonna call this the non-recruitment podcast. I had a really funny name the other day, but yeah, that's a common story around here.
Yeah. So Coach Morgan was actually at a track meet watching Sean do all his stuff, and he was standing over by the rings. And he saw me throwing shot put, and he's like, "Wow, that guy competes." And he talked to Coach White, our head coach of the football team, and kind of started asking about me, and ended up inviting me out to camp. And went out to camp, just did that. Talked with him real quick after, and then every time he'd come visit Sean at school, I would just tag in, talk with him, just have a conversation. And every time he'd just be like, "Be patient, be patient." Called me a couple times on the phone, and I was pretty much dead set on doing track in college. I was actually getting ready to commit to Iowa to do track. And the night I was going to commit, he called my coach that day at school, because it was technically a recruiting dead period, and offered me a walk-on spot. And I was like, "Yep, I'm taking it." Didn't think twice. And so, yeah, and that was kind of how I ended up at Iowa.
So you were going to,
I love.
Go ahead, Kev.
Oh, I was about to say, I love how Coach Morgan always watching guys do a different sport other than football too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's how he finds people.
Yeah, Coach Morgan probably has stories like, "Yeah, I was watching this guy. He was throwing darts in a bar, and I just saw his athleticism."
Just tell by the way he steps into it, he'd be a great defensive lineman.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you were gonna full go to college for track then, huh? How far are you throwing the shot put back in the day?
Shot put, my PR was 60 foot 6 inches, and then disc I was sitting right around. I was right under 180. I think my best was a 176, I believe. So
did you have like offers to go play or to go throw in college then?
Yeah, I had offers. I had probably 10 to 15 offers for track.
Damn.
All right. So where were you thinking about going there instead of walking on to Iowa for football?
I always wanted to be a Hawkeye. I mean, I grew up, I think my first game was when I was 6 or 7 months old. Always been a Hawkeye. So I wanted to be a Hawkeye, but I was going to commit to Iowa. But other than that, NDSU is probably the best throw school in the nation. Was thinking about going there. I was in the talks with Iowa State and Nebraska a little bit. I was kind of contemplating going there, but I always wanted to be a Hawkeye, so that was pretty much where I was going to go from the get-go.
Wow.
Gotcha. Were any other schools looking at you for football?
It was pretty much just when Sean got recruited somewhere, they'd look at me, and I guess this is a complete hearsay. Iowa State was going to offer me, but they called Coach White, our head coach, and he was like, because they had offered me a preferred walk-on, and after Iowa offered me a preferred walk-on, apparently they were going to offer me a full ride, and they asked Coach if there was any chance of me flipping my decision. He's like, nah, it's really not worth it. Like he's going to Iowa.
That's funny.
And he's right.
Yeah, that's a rather bold statement for a coach to make, that you're going to turn down a full scholarship offer. But
hey, but
he was right. I guess he was right.
He was dead. He was dead right.
That's incredible that you.
Much respect. Respect.
First of all, that loyalty, that bleed black and gold loyalty it runs strong.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that is crazy. You had a ton of offers to go throw for track, and the minute the door just creaked open for Iowa football, that was it. It sounds like there was not a lot of thought. That was easy.
No, I got off the phone with Coach Morgan. I called my mom. I was like, hey, Coach just called, said I could play football at Iowa. I'm going to do it. I'm going to call him back right after I get off the phone. I'm going to be a Hawkeye. And then called Coach Morgan back before I even left school that day, and had committed. So
that's incredible. I love that. So this is for all three of us, because the walk-on idea is so interesting to me, like preferred walk-on, whatever, because with a scholarship, it makes sense. Like there's like a hard number that they have to go off of. Like, all right, we only have so many. We have something to go off of here. Like, we have a currency of scholarships that matters when we're thinking about offering this guy. But there is no currency with walk-ons. They can ask anybody to walk on, and they're not really giving up a whole lot other than a roster spot. And I would love to be in on those conversations, because it literally comes down to, all right, well, should we let this guy in the door or not?
Exactly.
And it's funny that conversation has to happen on all the guys, because some of the guys we played with, I can name a few. Kevin and I could name a few all the way back to 2013. There's a few in our class. I don't know how they let them in the door.
Yeah. There's a few guys that you're like, wow. Like,
it doesn't make any sense.
I do agree.
I think Hawkeye Nation's
honestly, I felt like one of those kids in my freshman year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty common for a lot of walk-ons, just regardless. It's like you didn't get a scholarship, and you walk in, all these guys got highly recruited and everything. It's like, do I really belong? And I think it's like your first days in the weight room or on the field, where you kind of get a sense for, I think I can hang with these guys, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Were there any moments like that, Dalles, where you got a nice little rude awakening to Big Ten football early on, like just pile drived into the ground, walking by a guy in the weight room, he's doing twice your weight, like any of those that you remember?
Well, strength, I was always one of the stronger guys in my class. So in the weight room, I felt I was super confident, but I remember our first skills and drills. Somehow I got paired up with Jaleel. And
Jaleel, get your pads down.
I don't know what I did to piss him off, but he just grabbed me by my face, and I just remember feeling like a fucking puppy. I was like, what am I getting myself into? And then Kev, you might remember this. My first camp, I think I fought about twice a day, and I got jumped by the O-line at least one of those times.
I do remember you weirdly getting in an amount of fights. I'm like, why is Dalles always in fights? Like, you're definitely not a guy that, I don't know how to say it. So there's some guys in the locker room where you like, yeah, man, if I could get a chance to fight this person, and Drake's like one of those people. If like you get in those stuff with Drake, like, we're throwing hands with Drake.
100%.
But Dalles was definitely not one of those people,
Basically, there's like good guys, there's like real good-hearted guys, and then there's guys that got a little bit of asshole to them, a little bit of douchebag. There's just a little bit where it would feel good to knock them down a step. And I'm probably one of those guys. I was just never in a position to fight. Drake, definitely one of those guys. Kevin, even probably one of those guys. Dalles, you're not one of those guys. You were always like, I don't know. It's a vibe. You know, you can always tell from a guy the way he just interacts with people. Like, oh, that guy's just a good dude. And Dalles, that was you from the beginning. At least that's the feeling I had on you. I think that's what Kevin is getting at. What was the goal? You know, you get your foot in the door. And for a lot of kids, we talked to Brandon Bishop actually a few episodes ago, and he said, like,
I heard that one.
Yeah, once he stepped in the door, it was like, you know,
there's nothing to lose.
Yeah, it didn't like, keep him from working hard, but it was like, hey, he made it.
Exactly.
Like, the dream was realized. How did you approach that mentality and kind of your personal goals throughout your football career once you got that foot in the door?
Yeah, it was always kind of just reaching the next step. I mean, freshman year, I was just like, you know, shit, I'm here. Like, what do I do now? Like, this is what I've always wanted my whole life. Like, what do I do now? And then I kind of had to, you know, start, you know, being a contributing factor on the scout team. And so I did that. And then, you know, I started being that. And I was like, now I want to win Scout Team Player of the Week. And then I did that. And I was like, all right, now I want to go over to the varsity field and, you know, contribute there. And then I finally got there my senior year is finally when I got on the varsity field. And I played 2 years of special teams, you know, that Mike position, highly coveted. Everybody wants to be it, you know, just stand there and get.
I don't know about that, but someone has to be
the absolutely least desirable position on the entire field.
Makes for some incredible film.
Oh God. Yeah, it was. So I finally got into that my set.
Well, Dalles, what was your first year? Was it 2015?
My first year was 2016. So after the undefeated season.
16. Oh,
yeah.
Gotcha. So 2015, that coveted position that you think about. I'll never forget. Jake Hewitt was I think he was either Mike or the Sam or something for the punt protection team.
He was the Mike.
And
yeah.
Did they show you the clip of him getting his face mask bent in by the defensive lineman from Indiana?
Yeah. It's fun.
It's not
just
fun.
A good time.
It's
the iron bars on his helmet were bent in. So
I mean,
I broke a helmet. I cracked a helmet.
You did?
Yeah, I cracked one of my helmets. Yeah.
Oh my God! The job description is literally you become
actually
the human wall.
Yeah, exactly. And doesn't matter who's coming, but the hardest dude I ever got hit by, I don't know why he slipped my name. He blocked a punt in the NFL. He went to Michigan. It was number 29, the long-haired dude. And like the first time I saw him lining up, like he was my dude. I was like, shit, I don't have a defensive tackle. Like I'm so happy right now. And I'm sitting there and I'm seeing him sprinting. I'm like, oh fuck. And, and just
this boy's coming.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, I learned real quick that, you know, small guys, they move a lot faster and they can definitely hit. And I mean, there's a reason he's in the league blocking punts and field goals. I mean, the guy he was missile.
What was it like for you, describe the experience of, you know, you get your foot in the door and then early on, it's like that first time you dress a game is a huge thing. Like you see your name on the back of the jersey in the locker room. You get to do locker room check, right? What was it like the first time for you knowing you're going into a game and you're in the game plan? Like you're on the first team of you're in the game, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I was Mike on the punt, and you know the scheme's really not that hard. It's like stand there. I got 2 or 3 depending on who the guard points out, and I'm sitting there, and Coach Woods calls the punt, and I like everything left my mind. I was like, where the fuck do I line up? Like I was shitting my I think it was Brady. I literally like I just followed Brady like a like a puppy. I literally just followed Brady, and I was standing there, and I was like, what's the punt? What's the punt? Like, I completely forgot everything running out there. And Brady told me the punt. I got the protection, and yeah, I was shitting my pants. I had no clue. Like, it was just like, I had prepared, like, I felt well prepared. Like, I knew every punt we could do. I knew my job. I knew what adjustments we'd make, like Woody, all that. Like, in practice, I was humming, had it down, no problem. Coach Woods calls. I go, what, is he speaking English right now? Like, what's going on? Like, everything went out the door. It was unbelievable.
That's fantastic.
Your first play can be a surreal feeling because, like, you've never played in front of that many people before. I don't know if it's that or if it's just the fact that it's it's Big Ten football, or the fact, like, for you and me, Dalles, that you spent the last 2 years like not playing or something like that, and now you're finally in the game again. It's like, I haven't played a football game, an actual football game, in several years now. I don't know what it is, but it's a surreal feeling.
I think for me it was like, okay, I've done this in practice a million times, right? And I did it in high school a lot too. But now my direct performance on this single play actually factors into the equation of this football game. And that's what going from none of those plays to the first one is hard. Then after that, it gets easier, but it's like, ooh, that first one is just hard to get out of the way.
It wears off pretty quickly.
Once you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. After that first game, it was fine. I mean, you kind of get in your zone, you get in your groove, and you just go out there and do it.
As a guy who, you listen to that Brandon Bishop podcast, and I think of you in a lot of the same ways, Dalles, a guy who just selfless dude, right? And to some extent, Kevin and I as well, we all kind of know this, but like, none of us were CJ Beathard or Josie Jewell. Our faces aren't on the stadium, And
exactly.
But what did it mean to you to represent your hometown, your family, just being an Iowa kid in the Iowa jersey and getting to play 5 years for the Hawkeyes? What does that mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, it was a dream come true. Like, everything I could ever ask for and then some. I mean, getting to work under coaches like, Coach Morgan, Coach Ferentz, like, just legendary guys, Coach Parker, Coach Wallace, Coach Bell, like, just guys that, know what they're doing, like have a great reputation for a reason. And, getting to know them on a personal level, spending countless hours with them. And then, getting to play with guys like Josie Jewell, who a year before was just a guy on the TV that I was like, holy shit, like, it's Josie Jewell. Or like being in the locker room in the same pot as CJ Beathard. It was just like, it was surreal. The whole first year was just surreal. Just like, I really had to be like, am I really here? Like, am I actually doing this right now? And it was just a dream come true. Like, waking up every morning, doing what I wanted to do the past 18 years of my life. And it was just amazing.
Did you have any tough days where you woke up and the dream wasn't as shiny? There was that silver lining was like, oh yeah, I understand that, what the opportunity I have right here, but today specifically, I really don't want to go and, get driven off the ball for 2 hours in the scout team. Like, was there any day, did you ever question it, or were you going to be a start to finish guy the whole time?
No, it was about a month every year around August. If you guys know what I'm talking about, camp.
Yeah, weird.
I absolutely hated camp.
It's weird. It's weird that you get those seasonal feelings.
Yeah, I don't know why. I mean, it's like all football, like, what every guy like dreams of, but I hated it. I could not. I think it was the hotel really that got me. Like, just being absolutely secluded from everything and everyone. And, you're up with the sun and you go to bed when it's dark, and, you have nothing, you have no more energy in your body to do anything but football. and like I'd maybe talk to my parents once a week, send a couple texts to my buddies. Like, it's just, camp was just awful for me, but I knew like that's part of it. And I had to wake up, I had to put in my work. And after camp was done, once we got out of the hotel, it was just like, the best feeling ever. Like, you had your freedom back, and I could my own bed. But other than camp, really, it was just like, so there was days where it was just rough, but it was like you had to check yourself. Like, I'm waking up doing what I wanted to do for my whole life, and working with the best of the best that there is out there. And there was days where I really had to check myself. But yeah, other than camp, I loved it.
I love it.
Yep, camp sucks. Just wait until your first August without a camp, though. It's a weird feeling. It's actually a weird feeling.
We didn't have a camp this year, and it was weird. It was super weird. Like that first game, it was like where did this come from? Like, even though it was later, like, what was it, 3-4 weeks into the season, like, it just didn't feel like it was game time yet. Like, I just didn't feel like I just didn't feel real. Like, it was weird.
Go, Kev.
But yeah, I want to talk about this too. Is so in, I think July it is, they announced that Big Ten's going to cancel the season. What's the immediate reaction from the team?
Oh, dude, it was like just finding out that like your puppy died or something. Like just the air, and like everybody just breathed. It was just like everybody's deflated at once. Like, it was awful. Like, you put in so much time, you put in so much work, and we knew it was going to happen. Like, it wasn't a surprise, but it was just like, there was that small sliver of hope that we had that, maybe it'll get better. Maybe we'll be able to have a season. And then hearing that they're pulling the plug is just like, shit. And like, I remember that day, my roommates and I were like, well, you guys want to fucking drink?
Yes.
Like, we had no clue what to do with our lives. Like, we just didn't know what to do. And so, yeah, we literally just drank in our living room. Like, we were just lost. We didn't know what to do.
I think that's the only Iowa response that you could have, right?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely kept Bush in business. Yep. Yeah, we kept Bush in business over the
bad day to be a Bush.
Dude, they tweet that every Saturday. I retweet it every time.
I know.
I love it. I love that.
Yeah, so I mean, there was like I remember that talking about canceling it, and then there's like a slight feeling of hope that the Big Ten wasn't going to do it after everyone started tweeting out like, we want to play and everything.
Yeah.
And then they brought down the hammer, and it's like, I don't know. So what was it like during the interim before, after they canceled it and before they announced that they were going to bring it back? Well, like, what did you guys do? What was the feeling? What was even happening?
Well, it was just like, how in like, I don't even want to say spring ball, because it wasn't like spring ball where you're like practicing, but there's no game, there's no bowl, there's like nothing to really look forward to. And like, it's just not as intense, like it's just the like external forces aren't driving you as hard. Like, it's all internal. Like, what you have in you, your drive to get better is what's feeding it. And it was just kind of like, we were showing up just like especially the seniors, was like, what yeah, well, we did it, and we got all our weight and we did all that, but it's just like, what's the point? Like, I may never play football ever again in my life. Like, and I guess I wish I would have seen it from the point of view of a younger guy that has a lot of like future ahead of them, and a lot of time to get better. And that this season wasn't everything to them, but for me at least, it was like, well, fuck, like I may be doing this just to do this, and I may actually never play football ever again in my life.
Yeah, that's heavy. With everything that went down this summer, and then COVID, all of that together, just a really, really
a shitstorm.
Volatile off season for you guys.
Yeah.
And you guys start the season, and I'd love to hear your opinion. You have those 2 losses, two games that I'm sure you guys look back at as, damn, we really could have won those games. And
yeah,
I would love to hear in your mind the difference between the Hawks in week 1 and 2 this past season, and then what transpired after the big. I mean, you guys crushed Michigan State and then kind of just didn't look back.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
So for something you guys would be able to relate to, it was after we just got absolutely pounded by Penn State and we had Michigan the next week. That feeling after the Penn State loss was the exact feeling we had week 2. It was just like, shit, like, is this really what we're going to be? And then like, it was, we were at a point of, blame COVID, call it in, say, it's whatever, it's our COVID season, like COVID did this, COVID did that. Or are you going to buy in and are you going to nut up and just fucking do it and, become the team that you can be? And it was that Monday, it was just like, we figured it out and we did it. And, it was, practice became a lot more fun after that first win, and complacency was never a thing. Those first 2 games we were really trying to find out our new identity. After the summer and everything, it was just we were kind of in shambles a little bit, and I really think that it brought the team closer, but we were really trying to find who this team was going to be. And after that second loss, I think we just decided, we're gonna be Iowa Hawkeyes. We're gonna play Iowa football, and we're gonna be gritty, and we're gonna fight every play. And we just kind of figured it out, and the rest is history.
Yeah, you're firing me up. I'm ready. Woo! Seriously, dude. That's. I mean, it's what it looked like, right? And it makes sense. What happened kind of made sense. It was. Man, from the outside, from from me and Kevin's perspective, I think Kevin and I would be the correct English way to say that. Not Kevin and me and Kevin, but Kevin and I.
We're washed up walk-ons, not philosophers.
Yeah, I wasn't a freaking English major. From our perspective of people who have been there and had control and had a piece in it, and now you're on the outside and you just have to watch things transpire. Man, it was tough to be like, ooh, they're so close. They got to figure something out. Like, it wasn't an effort thing. It was just you didn't have the right sauce, right?
Yeah, exactly. We didn't have the sauce.
Didn't have the right sauce.
All right, Gervas.
I'm not fake juice Gervas. Which, by the way, did you guys see the TikTok of him?
I did not.
I did, yeah.
It has like 15 million views on TikTok.
No shit.
Yeah, it's him and his wife at their ceremony. Anyway, so yeah, that was crazy. And then for you guys to go on and win 6 games, and it was unfortunate you guys didn't get to have the bowl season, but a good way for y'all to go out, and kind of a weird thing, right? Like, you guys technically have another year because of the COVID season, but everybody had to make that decision on their own. And there's some guys that are coming back. There's some guys that aren't. What was that like for you to put football behind and then transition into, talk about that?
Yeah. So, obviously I wanted to be Iowa Hawkeye my whole life. And, I was there, and I did my 5 years. I did the thing. Like, I did the thing. And I just kind of been like walking a tightrope with music. What can I do? What can I do? And, music was really starting to take off. And I was just kind of at a point where, I'm sufficed with what I did at Iowa. I'm proud of what I did. There's things that I wish I could do over, but, I did the thing, and I'm damn proud of it. It was just time to to turn the page and move on to the next chapter of my life. And so it was a hard decision. Don't get me wrong, but it was. I feel like I made the right one.
I feel like
it's just time, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can only do it for so long. It's Kevin, I don't remember, for some reason it feels like to me that I knew about Dalles your singing ability before the song went viral. The Wave song went viral. Did you sing like for something when we were still there? I don't remember. Like
no. All right. Well, Josh and I would always sing in the shower. Like for what I don't even know why. We'd always sing. He'd be like, Josh would just be like, hey, because I would always just like sing a little bit in the shower.
Yeah, mess
and then
around.
Josh would just belt in the shower. I mean,
Yeah.
Josh can sing. And he's like, oh, you can sing. He was like, show me something. So so then Josh and we would always just sing and stuff in the shower. But I beatboxed in a camp, or not a camp, a bowl prep when we were doing that like minute to win it thing.
Yep. I remember that.
Yep.
So,
remember that one. Yeah.
I believe at that point it was like, oh shit, Dalles is beatboxing. And then it was someone else was like, yeah, he's like pretty gifted, like musically, like he can sing. He was in like show choir. And I was like, okay. Yeah. So I knew about this.
That might've been Miguel.
It probably was Miguel.
Miguel was my freshman year camp roommate.
Talk about Miguel. What do you think about our guy?
Miguel. You can't describe him. There's no way to describe Miguel. Miguel he's just Miguel. I mean, just a goofy dude. I mean, he's pretty quiet until he's comfortable.
Until he feels okay talking.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't shut up.
I feel like I read a whole encyclopedia. Yeah. After my freshman camp, I felt like I had read the whole encyclopedia on soccer and goalies and Dark Souls.
Oh yeah, Dark Souls.
I mean, the dude is just a walking book of soccer knowledge and Dark Soul. Like I probably spent an hour a night watching Dark Souls videos, and like I almost started playing the game. I never played video games in my life, and I was like, dude, this sounds fucking awesome. Like I might have to do it.
Miguel is
like, yeah. I mean, Miguel,
he's relentless.
He's unique. He's unique. Mm-hmm.
He's absolutely relentless. He doesn't let up. And people could like only handle so much of him. And then I would be like, yes, that is what I deal with every day. Like I hang out with him every day when we're at the facility. And it was, I mean, Miguel, and being friends with him is a skill. He is one of the most unique characters I've ever come across in my 26 and a half years of life. And I'm glad that I know him. He is, he's a machine.
Yeah. And I'm glad he was my freshman year roommate, dude. Like it was actually, looking back, it was so good to like just not talk about football when we got back to the hotel.
Yeah.
Like having him as a roommate, it was like kind of it was that escape for, the hour and a half before we went to bed.
Yeah, that's perfect. You write this song, and from what I read in I read a few articles that you've done, interviews, and you weren't going to release it, or like you had written it and or something. Like talk about the blowing up of this We Wave song. And for those listening, I'm sure you guys have all heard it. I'm going to outro this podcast with the song as long as Dalles is okay with it.
100%.
And so you guys can listen to it at the end. I listened to it 3 or 4 times while in prep for this podcast, and I get goosebumps every time, dude. It's so good.
Thank you.
How did it become a thing?
Yeah. So it was I hurt my back really bad. I want to say it was before it was either the Outback Bowl or the Pinstripe Bowl. And so I really didn't practice at all that whole year. I was hobbling around like a grandpa for a few months, and I was kind of in a dark spot, and we got that $400 gift card from the
huge
from the bowl game. And I was like, yeah, I might as well just buy a guitar. So went out and bought a guitar and started teaching myself some chords and learning some songs, you know, just for fun. And then I was up in Minnesota with Buyer. We were at his cabin on a fishing trip, and the chorus kind of hit me, and I was like, yeah, I should finish that. So I mean, I took the 5 chords I knew and finished the song with my brother Todd Gusta. And I like he said, I was not gonna, you know, I showed it to my family and my roommates and stuff, and you know, obviously they're gonna be like, yeah, that's good. Like, I mean, they're my friends and my family.
You thought they
they're
were
not
being
gonna be like,
nice.
yeah, dude, that's awful. Yeah, exactly. And I really didn't think that it did the wave justice. For being honest, like, you know, obviously I'd never been in the hospital. I didn't know that point of view. I mean, I'd visited a bunch, you know, just through with the football team, like we do that stuff all the time. And I really honestly didn't think it did the wave justice. And then I was at Byers' family. They do like a family get together, like a big potluck and a bonfire and stuff. And his mom was like, hey, can you help me set up the speaker so we can play some music? And plugged in a microphone. She said she had an announcement to make. And she handed me the microphone. She's like, all right, now you got to sing this. And his
Damn, she
cousin,
threw you on the spot.
yeah, she scammed my ass, dude. And his cousin videotaped it while I sang it, and she put it on Facebook. And I think I went to bed and it had like 2,000 views in probably about 7-8 hours. I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. Like, that's awesome. And then I wake up and it was at like 20,000 views. I had like 100 friend requests, a bunch of messages, like a million notifications. And I think that one video ended up getting like 300,000. And then the university posted a video, ended up getting over 600,000. And then there's other videos that got, you know, 10,000, 20,000. So like overall, I ended up getting 1 million views. And I was like, holy shit, I might have something here. And that's kind of why I started actually doing music at all. Like I really had no plans to actually pursue music. And yeah, it was just crazy how it happened.
That was that this past summer or was that 2 summers?
No, that was 2 summers ago.
Okay. 2 summers ago. And then ever since, you've kind of, at least from following you, obviously, I don't know your day-to-day life, but ever since then, it's kind of been like, it seems like that's the move, right? I'm sure that's what it's been like for you is it's calling you a little bit. You got to go try and make something out of it. So when did it, I mean, obviously, when did it start to matriculate in your mind that I think that this is what I want to pursue? I want to give this a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I started just writing more songs and putting them out. You know, just got good feedback there. Over quarantine, you know, I really had nothing better to do.
Yeah.
Than, you know, play guitar. And I'm sure my roommates were tired of it, but I mean, I was playing guitar probably 8 hours a day.
Jeez.
And yeah, I ended up writing like, I think I've got probably pretty close to 20 songs right now. And
Wow.
I was posting them on Instagram and TikTok and everything. And I'm not supposed to tell a story, but I guess I didn't really sign any papers, so fuck it. I had a dude from American Idol like message me, and he was like, hey man, like I love your stuff. Would you like an opportunity to perform for American Idol? And I was like, all right, this is bullshit. And like I looked it up. I was like I looked him up. I was like, maybe this isn't bullshit. So I messaged him back and I was like, yeah, he didn't ask for money. He didn't ask for my credit card number. So, I mean, might as well take the shot. Ended up auditioning for American Idol. And because I didn't think football was going to be a thing this year once they shut it down. So I went through a few rounds of auditions, passed them all. And they invited me out to California for the live auditions down there. And like they're basically they wanted me to sing all my original songs on there. And you know, football got brought back, and I was just like, you know what, I've got one season, like I'm going to see it through. And so I ended up not doing American Idol, but
wow.
I made it through all the auditions, and you know, had the opportunity to be on it. But so that was kind of, all right, holy shit, actually be okay at this. And you know, once the season was over, I had one show booked in Palo, my hometown, and I get there and I guess I was working that day. I worked like, I think I had a 10-hour day. I left work at 6 and I checked my phone. My brother's like, hey, like tell your roommates to get here. The place is packed. Like they have limited capacity. And then I guess at like 6:30, the cops showed up and gave him a ticket because it was over capacity. So then they just let everybody in. And I got there an hour before the show and the place was absolutely packed an hour before the show.
Wow.
And yeah, it was crazy. So I played that show and I booked one more show a couple weeks after that. And then after that show, just like people started messages poured in. And right now I'm booked through April, but I'm working on putting a band together. So I stopped booking stuff, but like, it's just crazy how, it's just taking off right now.
That is insane, my man.
Yeah.
That is insane. Gosh, that's incredible. I follow you. I see the tweets. Like you're out every weekend grinding. I've seen like other guys that show up and like are taking Snapchat videos of you while you're playing. What a wild ride. Just like a rocket ship. It just feels like. And I read somewhere that the goal is to somehow, some way make it to Nashville eventually and get down there.
Yeah. So right now, I was planning on moving up there, in the next couple of months, but Nashville's just kind of shut down. Like nobody's touring right now. So the labels are just kind of hemorrhaging money. Like they're really not bringing in any money. So, I mean, they're not really looking to sign anybody that, doesn't already have a name for themselves. So,
sure.
So right now it's just kind of like, I'm just going to stay home, close to my resources and stuff. But, I actually just started talking with a guy, out of Miami, who is a huge in the music industry. Met with Suge Knight when, Death Row was going down, and, kind of helped him keep that above ground, and, worked with Ozzy Osbourne. His dad worked with, what's his name? I Did It My Way. I can't think of his name. Yeah. So like, just really big in the music industry. Frank Sinatra. Gosh,
How do you not know
exactly.
who Frank Sinatra is?
I know Frank Sinatra. It just slipped my mind. But so yeah, he he's just really big in the music industry, and he actually, his friend messaged me and was like, hey, like this guy's kind of out of music right now, but I think he could help you out, and you mind if I show him? I was like, yeah, sure. So I ended up talking with him, and he wants to get me down to Florida and, just meet, and hopefully he'll end up being my manager. But just this last week, he put me in touch with a vocal coach who he's a Broadway actor and singer.
Wow.
Does a lot of the lead roles, and I'm doing vocal lessons with him. So it's just crazy how fast everything's going.
That is absolutely insane. What was the plan before all this started? What was the plan? Because it's funny how you look back, and I'm sure you sit there on some days and you're like, this was not where I saw my life going. This was, what was Dalles Jacobus going to do before this?
Yeah, I mean, my dream job was to be an occupational therapist. I wanted to work with special needs kids. I was coming into college, like I knew that's what I wanted to do. The problem is just there's nothing that, you can't really make a living off of most of the interactions that they have. And occupational therapy was just like the one route I saw that, I could make a decent living for myself and, make an impact in their lives. And so, yeah, I wanted to be an occupational therapist. I was pre-OT at Iowa. And once music started coming around, I was like, I could go into a shit ton more debt and go to grad school, or I could, play in bars every weekend and, maybe make a living there. And so, yeah, I wanted to be an occupational therapist.
That's wild. That is wild. I am, as someone who is trying to figure things out for myself in my own entrepreneurial ventures, it excites me to that you have the opportunity to go do that and try and make it for yourself. And I'm sure I know it's exciting as hell for you because you get to you just get to figure it out on your own. And it's like the Wild West. Every day is a new thing. Man, that's awesome. Kevin, do you have anything else for Dalles? I mean, that's the story because the story's still being written. We're early. We're like chapter 1. We're in the table of contents right here.
I played my first show a month ago. So
that's it,
dude,
Kev?
I saw you were at El Rey's downtown.
I've played there probably. I've played there probably. I played that first show and then they just call me every time they have an opening. And so, I've played there probably 6-7 times now.
That's awesome.
So when's the next time going to be?
Next time will be Tuesday. I actually played there 2 nights ago. I opened up for a guy named Bobby McClendon. He's got a song in the top 40 of country music charts.
Jesus.
He's going to be really good. But he's actually one of my buddies. I actually got up on stage and sang with him.
Wow.
You know, after my show. So after my show, I started drinking. I had a few too many, but it was a good time.
Wow. I think that I think Hawkeye Nation is really, really glad that 5 years ago, Coach Morgan decided to bring you on. And I think that you could do some really exciting things. That Wave song is incredible. I know a ton of people have like brought up the idea of you playing in Kinnick after a game. Like when things come back, we will be the biggest proponent of getting a Dalles Jacobus live performance of the We Wave song in Kinnick Stadium, which you don't need our help. You could just, you could also just text like, hey, can I do this? But we'll be fully behind that. If you guys out there are listening, again, I'm going to play the song at the end of this podcast, but follow Dalles, tell them where to follow you at so they know when your shows are, when they can come out and see you.
Yeah, I post most of my stuff on Instagram. It's Dalles_Jacobus66. Dalles is spelled a little weird. It's Dalles. So, if you miss it, that's where you miss it. But I post all my stuff on Instagram and Twitter. I think I have the same handle there.
Cool.
You can look me up on Facebook too, but I'm not too active there.
Awesome. Well, episode 194 of the podcast, Dalles Jacobus, everybody. Dalles, thank you for coming on. It was a pleasure having you.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man.
We're excited to continue to listen, and you do great stuff. So thank you for being a Hawkeye. We are proud to call you a former teammate and brother. Thank you guys out there for listening, and stick around because we're going to exit the show here with Dallas' song. We'll be back next week on Monday with another episode. Thank you guys for listening. Peace.